the previous parts, we looked at the concepts of how to describe a fluid flow. We saw what is a velocity field. It is the representation of the velocity as a continuous function of space and then time. And then we also saw what is the acceleration of a fluid or the acceleration field, which is defined as the material or total derivative of the velocity with respect to time. Some textbooks will write this the total derivative as dv over dt uppercase, and this is equal to an unsteady component partial v over partial t at a given point, and then a convective or an advective component which is v dot del of v. V dot del is a operator which is u partial x plus v partial y plus w partial z of the vector v. So this is the velocity and the acceleration field. So velocity field and acceleration field, and we did discuss what the word field means. It is a function of space that is reasonably smooth and continuous, so that you can define it at every point in the flow. Okay. So we talked about the velocity field in Cartesian, or you could have other coordinate systems like the cylindrical coordinate system. So that would be cylindrical r theta z, or the spherical, which is r theta phi. Okay, and then the choice of a coordinate system like Cartesian or cylindrical or spherical really depends on the problem at hand. Not every problem will be suitable to be described by the Cartesian system, nor will every problem be suitable to be described well or intuitively described by the cylindrical coordinate system or the spherical coordinate system. Like for example, if you are thinking of about the flow over a sphere, here is a sphere, and if you have the flow coming in from the left, okay, and the flow going past the sphere, if you have the flow over a sphere, the obvious coordinate system to describe a problem with spherical symmetry would be the spherical coordinate system. It would be illogical, it's more illogical or more inconvenient to use any other coordinate system to describe this problem, because you would think that in the spherical coordinate system the flow is dependent only on the distance and the angle, so it's a two-dimensional flow. You don't need to really know what is phi, whereas in a cylindrical coordinate system or Cartesian description of this problem, you would need three coordinates, making you think that it's a three-dimensional problem by mistake. Likewise, for example, if you have a flow through a pipe, let's say you have the axis, okay, here's the flow coming in, and we will see this in detail in a later module. And then after a while, the flow profile or the velocity profile is looking like a parabolic shape. That is, the velocity along the z direction, the axial velocity, is equal to a constant times 1 minus r squared over r squared. So this velocity is independent of the axial position, it's independent of the angular position. That is, if you take the front view, the velocity profile in any direction is the same, meaning the velocity profile is not a function of theta. The velocity Vz is only a function of r, and it's not a function of theta, it is not a function of z. Okay, I'm writing theta and z and striking them out. It is only a function of r, and the other two velocity components, that is the radial velocity, that is if you have a pipe flow, the flow is taking place along the axis. So the radial velocity is 0 and there is no velocity perpendicular to the radius either. So the tangential velocity is also 0. So it's a one-dimensional flow that is dependent on only one spatial variable, and it would be a misnomer to think or describe this in Cartesian or spherical coordinates where there is no symmetry in such a description. So every problem, this is an important statement, every problem has an intuitive or a natural system of coordinates in which it is most conveniently described and most intuitively understood. So we want to go beyond not just these conventional orthogonal coordinates of x, y, z, r theta z and r theta phi. There is also one more way of describing an orthogonal coordinate system that is based on the definition of a streamline. Okay, so let me introduce a coordinate system which are called streamline coordinates. It is usually used for two-dimensional flows. It has two coordinates, one being the streamwise direction and the other being the normal direction. Streamwise direction and normal direction. Now what do I mean by streamline coordinates? In the previous video, we saw what is the definition of a streamline. A streamline is a curve to which the velocity vector is tangential. Okay, it is a tangent to the velocity vector at a given point. So if I have a flow and let's say this is the streamline, okay, if I take any particular point, I can easily locate the local velocity direction by drawing the tangent to that curve. So the velocity the tangent at this point, if I define this direction of the tangent to be the streamwise direction and the direction normal to that streamwise direction as the normal direction. Okay, so this is my streamwise direction and this is my normal direction. Okay, unlike Cartesian coordinates, which are usually fixed in space, that is, if you have this room and let's say I take the corner there to be the origin of the xyz coordinates, we take them to be fixed in space. The streamwise directions, or their angles are fixed in space. The streamwise direction keeps changing from point to point. That is, if I take this point here, the streamwise direction was this one and the normal direction was this one. If I take this point here, the streamwise direction is this one and the normal direction is this one. So at every point you can draw a streamwise direction and a normal direction, and of course you always have the liberty of choosing any one particular point as the origin and measure distances from that point. You always have that liberty. Okay, so to summarize, the streamwise direction is tangent and along the direction of local fluid velocity. It is tangential and along the direction, and that's why I drew this along the velocity. I could have as well drawn it against the velocity. It is tangential and along the direction of local velocity, and the normal direction is perpendicular to the streamwise direction and is the inward drawn normal to the local curvature. It is the inward drawn normal to the local curvature. I could have drawn it the other way. That would be the outward side. So if there is a curve, wherever it curves inwards, that's where my direction of the local normal is going to be. Direction of the local drawn normal or inward drawn normal. So with this definition that the streamwise is along the direction of the local fluid and tangent to it, I can define two directions. I can define this direction to be S cap and this direction to be N cap. Okay. Now we are going to do a very important derivation with this streamline coordinate system that will be later used to derive the Bernoulli equation. Okay. So this is a very important result that we are going to derive here. So let me erase this. Okay. I'll take the definition of velocity or velocity field is going to be a function of the streamwise direction, normal direction or normal coordinate. S is the distance along the streamline from a chosen origin, and N is the distance perpendicular to the streamline at a given point. So if I have a thread, assume that this is a streamline, and if I choose my origin here, S is measured along the length of the thread. Okay, S is measured along the length of the thread. So this distance, this curvilinear distance of OP is the streamline coordinate S. And if I take P and if I go in the perpendicular direction, so say suppose I draw the tan normal here, the distance measured along P would be N, or along the normal would be N. You will see that N has connection to the radius of curvature. We'll see that later. Okay, N has connection to the local radius of curvature. Now you have the streamwise direction S and the normal direction N. When I write them without the cap, they are distances. When I write them with the cap, they are directions. They are unit vectors along S cap and N cap. Okay. If you want, I'll write that separately. S cap is the unit vector along the streamwise direction and along the normal direction. Okay. So with this notation, I can write the acceleration vector is also a function of S comma N comma T. Okay. And vectorially speaking, this is still the derivative of velocity with respect to time, or the total derivative of velocity with respect to time. And we wish to have it written as a streamwise component of acceleration plus a normal component of acceleration. So we'll write velocity Vs times S cap plus Vn times N cap. So subscript S that represents streamwise component, and subscript N represents normal component. Okay. Now I told you that this velocity and the streamwise direction are one and the same. That is, the velocity or the streamwise direction is defined as the direction of the velocity. It is pointed along the velocity vector. So if it is pointed along the velocity vector, you have this, I'll draw this here, you have the velocity here and you have the streamwise direction here, which means the entire magnitude of this velocity is directed along S. That is, if you take V to be the magnitude of the velocity, that is directed along this direction, which means there is nothing directed along the normal direction. Along the normal direction, so the entire thing is along the streamwise direction, and along the normal direction you have nothing. So you can simply write the velocity is Vs times S cap plus 0 times n cap, or in other words Vn is 0. The velocity along the normal direction is 0 by definition. Since you define S and V to have the same direction, okay? By definition, the normal component of the velocity is 0. Everything is tangential because that's the definition of streamline. So I'll just remove this, and what you have is, instead of using the symbol Vs, I'll simply use V times S cap. Velocity is V times S cap, and acceleration is As times S cap and An times n cap, and As and An are to be determined. Okay. So let me make space for some of this. Okay. So I have the acceleration equals the total derivative of the velocity with respect to time, which is the total derivative of magnitude of velocity times S cap. Now this is an operator and this is an operand. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll apply chain rule of calculus to split them. This is dV over dt times S cap, okay, plus I'll write V times ds cap over dt. Just applying chain rule of calculus, okay. So if I compare this, I have S cap here, I have S cap here, and I have this direction here which I don't know what to do about. So I need to first worry about what is ds cap over dt. If I have an expression for that, then we can put that together and try to determine what should be Vs and what should be As